More than 1,600 firefighters are still working at the scene. More rain is forecast for Northern California over the weekend. Maybe some boosting news for firefighters to totally extinguish the last of the fires there. But the rain also raises the risk of flash floods and landslides. Meanwhile, a new government report on Friday has blamed weather disasters on climate change. It says they're going to get worse. US President Donald Trump has publicly cast doubt on climate change and encouraged the production of fossil fuels. Owen Fairclough has more.
Timing of this report couldn't be more symbolic, certainly for the United States, with the state of California grappling with the deadliest and most destructive wildfires it's ever known, that have been blamed by US President Donald Trump on poor forest management, but by others in the scientific community on an overheating planet creating tinderbox-like conditions. And that polarization is only going to increase with the publication of this report by the US government, which looks at the United States and the bigger picture for the whole planet. Let's take a look at the summary there of that report. We're talking about catastrophic financial losses to the end of the century, but also that will bring with it increased disease, drought, flooding, coastline damage as well. Some of those phenomena, of course, we're already seeing right now. It's perhaps deeply ironic that the Environmental Protection Agency here in the United States was one of the government agencies that had input into that report, an agency that's been tasked with rolling back many of the most stringent environmental regulations and giving Donald Trump his pro-fossil fuels agenda. This is a president we know who likes coal. He's embraced coal miners in places like West Virginia. It's very hard to know exactly where this president stands. At one point, he's supported efforts to reduce climate change, but at other times has called it a hoax, called it laughable. And he was pressed while touring those the damage from those wildfires in California last week, about where he stands now on climate change. Here's US President Donald Trump.
No. I have a strong opinion. I want great climate. We're going to have that, and we're going to have forests that are very safe, because we can't go through this every year. We go through this, and we're going to have safe forests.
We know Donald Trump has strong views, so strong that he pulled the US out of an international treaty, I should say, on climate change. And that's going to be problematic with the US president heading to next week's G20 summit in Argentina. We know there are already problems with the final communique for this summit. One of those problems, agreeing on climate change. The rest of the world wants to curb emissions, wants to curb greenhouse gases. But this is a US president who's traveling in a very, very different direction from most, if not all, of his G20 partners.